Hey, this is Zero at ReviewZoneHD, and I'm bringing you guys a review for Darksiders 2 on the PlayStation 3. Now, because I spent so much time covering Dark Souls on my channel last year, the one question I get asked a lot on here is, can I recommend any other action RPG title for someone that loved Dark Souls? And I finally have an answer for you guys. Darksiders 2 may not have the same dreadful, scary tone or insane and sometimes frustrating difficulty that Dark Souls carries, although it will sometimes put your skills to the test. It does, however, feature a lot of things that resemble what made Dark Souls such a great game. Fast combat, large enemies, upgradable weapons with a strong focus on weapon and gear collection, different character builds, slick boss battles, and a massive free-roaming open world to go around in as you please with plenty of secrets littered about. I actually have a lot to talk about with this game, so without further delay, let's go ahead and get into the review. I love the art style of this game. It looks great and it has a lot more detail in the actual environment compared to the original Darksiders title. But some of the special effects are a bit toned down in terms of small particles to give the effects less detail, which very well may have been a necessary thing to leave out to keep the game running smooth, especially considering how many enemies can get tossed on the screen at once. The lighting was absolutely spot on perfect for every area that I traveled through. It wasn't so dark that I couldn't see where I was going, but it was dim enough to set the mood that added a sense of dread to some of the areas. The more darker areas also enhanced the use of bright and neon colors to your special attacks, the enemies, and some environmental objects to really give the graphics some pop. A lot of your gear, such as your body pieces and weapons, when equipped have different styles and looks to them, and they were all highly detailed as well. I did notice a few minor graphical bugs here and there, some very minor screen tearing in a couple sections, but overall the good far outweighs any small nitpick with the bad. In the review of the original game, I stated how it starts off kind of slow and it picks up the pace after the first 6 hours when it takes the training wheels off, which is not the case with this sequel. This title hits the ground running. You don't feel restricted at the beginning, and you're given some pretty nice upgrades and equipment very early in the game. The overall balance and difficulty while playing on normal difficulty was perfect, and there were times when I did feel challenged and I was quick to understand what areas my character was not ready for yet. This is the type of difficulty that really puts the pressure on your own skills and preparation, and for that reason playing through the game a second time on a harder difficulty would be a lot of fun. They've also given plenty of reasons to play through it a second time, such as secret items that can only be obtained during a second run of the game. The game feels like it's constantly evolving and shaping itself to challenge you, and the puzzles were a lot better done on this title than what was in the previous one. Most of the puzzles are pretty short and to the point, but still do a great job of making you stop and think about certain situations. But there were a couple sections that they may have overused some of the puzzle mechanics, which made them drag on a little too long. However, the weapon level up system and the Crucible mode is what had me hooked on this game from the moment I began. Searching throughout the game to find the next best weapon and upgrading it, renaming it, and then finally testing it out in a knockdown, drag 'em out arena of 100 waves of enemies is one of my favorite parts about this game, and the soundtrack sounds like it was ripped straight out of a Hollywood blockbuster movie thriller. They did an excellent job of adjusting the tone and the style of music depending on the area and situation that you're in. They've also included some online features such as the ability to send your friends items and an online leaderboard to compete on. They did all the little things that are necessary to make a game great and set it apart from the rest of the crowd. It can almost be overwhelming just trying to figure certain parts of this game out, where you want to go next and what you want to do next, which is something that always makes a game fun to play. I've played well over 300 titles for the PlayStation 3, so it's obviously going to take a lot to crack my own personal top 10 favorite games on the PS3 list, and this game has managed to do just that. Whenever I do a review, I try to look at how the general gamer will view a title, who the game appeals to, and I try my best to point out its bright spots and its flaws, and this game really doesn't have that many flaws to complain about. The best aspect of this title is that it blends elements from different gaming genres so well. You have deep role-playing features, you have fast-paced action that rivals any good action title on the market, platforming concepts that could compete with the Assassin's Creed titles, even if they may be a bit more clunkier on here, and an open world so big at times that it feels like you're playing inside an MMO. The best part is, it doesn't just replicate other games. It goes above and beyond what anyone could have expected a Darksiders sequel could have been, and puts its own twist on everything. I thought the original Darksiders game was good. I had fun and spurts on there, but it doesn't hold a candlestick to what this juggernaut of a game offers. It's a must-buy game. Even in a season of great upcoming blockbuster titles, you're gonna want to play this one, and I think the fact that I spent the last 2 weeks hammering through this title to bring you guys as many videos as I possibly could is a great indication of how highly I think of this game. I don't know if it will be in the top 3 for contenders of Game of the Year, especially since the holiday season is still holding a few cards up its sleeve, but this title has my own personal pick for best game that's released so far this year, and I've covered a lot of great titles this year. Anyways, this is Zero at ReviewZoneHD, and thanks for stopping by.